Welcome to Open Mic. Jimmy was the kind of guy who rooted for the bad guys in the movies. As far back as I remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. First of all, rest in peace to the great Ray Liotta. And in honor of Ray Liotta, I suggest you politely ask somebody for the financial compensation that you deserve. By far my favorite line of his from the movies. Welcome to Open Mic. We like to start the show with some stories or a take on a story you won't get anywhere else. I grew up in gorgeous Prince George's and live in the district, so you know these jokes come from a place of love. I wanted to start things off by saluting the Washington Mystics. After Tuesday's win against the Dallas Wings, the team staged a media blackout with acting coach Eric Tebow and point guard Natasha Cloud taking turns addressing the Uvalde, Texas mass shooting while declining to discuss anything basketball related.
We have an issue in this country, not only white supremacy, we also have a gun violence issue. And this is us using our platform, right? This game doesn't matter. The 18 lives and the number is going up by the minute. The 18 lives that were lost today from senseless gun violence in Texas at an elementary school. We're talking about our kids not being safe to go to school. And our government is still not implementing sensible gun laws. This isn't about taking people's rights away from bearing arms. This is about putting sensible gun laws in so this doesn't happen again.
Very, very well said, Natasha Cloud. We're at a place where athletes are making more sense than politicians. Wait, what's that? Herschel Walker just entered the chat? Okay, all right, let's listen to that athlete turned politician's take on how to stop gun violence while making an appearance on Fox News.
You know, he talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women that's looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way?
Bruh, Herschel sounds like somebody trying to give a book report about a book they never even read, a book they never even heard of. That was gibberish with a side of nonsense. This dude said we need a department of looking at young men that's looking at women, that's looking at social media. I will tell you this, that's going to be a very long acronym. Now, I'm twice as grateful to have the Washington Mystics representing my city and not that dude. I chose this next story because cookout season is upon us. Miller Lite has released a beer-infused charcoal that the company says can turn Miller time into griller time. First of all, great slogan, but literally nobody asked for this. If I invite you to my cookout, don't you bring no Miller Lite flavored charcoal. As a matter of fact, don't you bring no Miller Lite flavored anything. I don't want Miller Lite in any form. If you do bring Miller Lite charcoal, I tell you this, you better bring your own grill and your own food too, and your own guests and your own friends. I refuse to serve burger that tastes like beer pong. I'm not going to do it. Some scientists actually had to make this happen. Now, I feel bad for whomever actually went through all those years of science class just to have their boss look up one day and say, you know what, I need you to go ahead and invent charcoal that tastes like Miller Lite. Why don't you go ahead and make that happen, nerd? Then again, my man Brock on 980 said, this reeks of a spill in the warehouse and somebody just didn't want to take the L. Hey, you remember all that charcoal that we accidentally spilled the Miller Lite on? Yeah, why don't you go ahead and bag that up, brand it and sell it. Oh, don't act like I'm the only one who served food to guests that's been through it in the garage. It's a 3-day weekend. Somebody let me know how this charcoal is, because I'm not going to be the one to experiment like this with my own food. Let's head over to Charlotte, North Carolina for this next story, where a woman named Marchette Foster claimed to the Charlotte Observer she's been evicted over her 21-year-old daughter twerking in the pool of their apartment complex. Now, this seems pretty extreme. Was there a sign up that said absolutely no twerking on the premises? Because they couldn't just ban her from the pool. This sounds like the plot of one of those cheesy movies where people think dancing is going to destroy everything, like twerky dancing, twerk loose, twerk side story, save the last twerk, you got twerked. I can do this all day. I really can. I do hope this mother and daughter can find a new place to live, one where nobody puts that much energy into what happens in the swimming pool. It's almost summertime. You need a twerk-friendly environment. trying to police twerking is downright un-American. I'm sure that falls under the freedom of expression somewhere. We need to go ahead and get the verified team on that. But it'll be the last time that those types of Google searches will actually be work-related, and you're welcome. What was it that Patrick Henry said? Give me twerkers or give me death? I'm right with you, Pat. Finally, I have an update to a story out of Portland, Oregon that has now come full circle. Romance novelist Nancy Brophy, who once wrote an essay titled How to Murder Your Husband, has been found guilty of, yep, you guessed it, murdering her husband.
As an author, she's been writing steamy romance novels filled with murder mysteries.
4 book covers, 1 shirt, and it was wet. This had to have been an open and shut case. Even though the How to Murder Your Husband article was not allowed to be entered as evidence, we covered how absurd that was. My question is, how you gonna write something called How to Murder Your Husband and then get caught? I mean, come on. Did you read the article before you read? You at least had to proofread it or something. Now, technically speaking, her husband was murdered, so she's still a subject matter expert. It's not like the essay was titled How to Murder Your Husband and Get Away with It. Maybe you should have wrote that one. Nancy, you should have known better. Do they not have the ID channel in Portland? Did you not see Southern Fried Homicide or Wives with Knives? And I know they probably already wrote her episode of Snapped. Don't let her have found somebody else and then they got snapped couples. Woo! I can't wait to read her next essay, How to Wash Your Cellmate's Drawers. That's gonna be a doozy. Now my favorite story, it's gotta be the Washington Mystics. It's inspiring and it gave me a reason to run that Herschel Walker clip. Also, by the way, Herschel, if you are looking for a director for the Department of Looking at Young Men, that's looking at young women, looking at social media, I'm available.